All these young people coming into the business like, oh, I'm going to scale and like I'm going to have a team of 100. When I came into this thing, it was just a bunch of old folks. I was just happy to make a couple $100,000 a year. All these people wanted to start working for me and I felt called to lead and do all these different things. I mean, it just kind of happened naturally. I never thought I was going to have a massive team or build this big thing. I just think when you're doing the right things, people notice and they want to be a part of it. And people are starving for leadership and to be a part of something. All right, welcome back to the Just Like That, Only Different podcast right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I've got Matt Mitchell in the house today. Built a massive virtual agency. Not on purpose, I guess you could say. It kind of happened through the COVID years, but excited to sit down with him here, unpack what it's like to build a virtual agency and scale to multi-million dollars from all over the country. Matt Mitchell in the house, baby. All the way from Scottsdale, Arizona. What's going on today, Matt?
Well, it's my first time in Nashville, so I'm excited to be here.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Never been. I've had opportunities to come here multiple times for some events, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like I've been to a lot of cities across the country.
You've been all over,
but I haven't been to Nashville, and I'm happy to be here finally. So.
Yeah. So you got here and they took you down. You went down Broadway, right?
Yep.
So you saw the Nash Vegas, the glitz and glamour of Nashville. We're going to the Vandy game tomorrow.
Yep.
And the time of this recording, Vandy's number 10 in the nation. I think Mizzou's maybe 17?
Right behind them, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Right behind them. Big game tomorrow. We got college game day. So we got it's going to be awesome weekend. And just chat about the business life, all that different stuff. So we just figured, hey, let's get a podcast going here.
Yeah, anytime I can come to Nashville and be hanging out right downtown here and see a football game on top of that. I mean, what else? I mean,
it's a heck of a
you're
weekend.
Speaking my language.
Exactly. Big Iowa Hawkeyes fan too, right?
Yep.
Because you're born and raised in Iowa, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So that's how we do it. We peel it back. We peel back the layers. So we're going to go back to when Matt Mitchell was a young lad, and we're going to find out what makes you just like that, only different. So what was growing up like for Matt Mitchell?
I grew up small town, you grew up in Illinois, right?
Yeah, so very small town, 2,000 people. Yep.
Same thing here. Yep. Exactly like 2,000 people, and Greenfield was the town where I grew up.
What's the biggest town by you?
Well, there's Des Moines, which is the city, which is 45 minutes away.
Yep.
There's another town. Iowa is basically kind of similar to Illinois, where it's just a bunch of small towns, like spread out 30 minutes apart from each other.
Yep.
Creston is like the bigger town, about 20 minutes away from us. That's like where we go growing up to if we want to go to McDonald's or
that was like Springfield for me. Yeah.
So
you want to go to Walmart or McDonald's?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 20 minutes away.
Yeah. Yep. Everything's 20 minutes. When you live in a small town, everything's 20 minutes.
Yep. Yeah. So we had a gas station and a couple sit down restaurants, but no fast food really.
So how many people are in your town? 2,000 too?
Yeah, and it's like any small rural town, and in Iowa or probably Illinois the same way. Like it's this kind of everybody wants to graduate high school and they probably go to Des Moines, or in Illinois it's maybe Chicago or somewhere here. Yeah.
We've had a couple small town folks on the podcast that are big operators now. Matt Timmon, obviously.
Yep.
He spoke highly of you. I told him that you were coming down here. He went from a small town, and then now you went from a small town. We're going to get there, but you've created something big. We're going to get there in a few minutes. So you're in a small town. What was growing up like? We're a blue-collar family, pretty middle-class, high. Were you guys wealthy? What was that like?
Yeah, middle class. My mom was a secretary for the county uptown on the square.
Yep.
My dad, he's retiring this year. He just turned 65. I just actually got him set up with his Medicare.
You get him on a med sup?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Just did that. Actually just signed him up for Social Security Medicare yesterday. So we got that out of the way. And then he's retiring this year, which I believe it's 45 years he has been at the same. It's a glass factory in our town. It's called Cardinal.
Yeah.
It employs a lot of the town.
Yeah.
And he's worked there since 1980.
So blue collar. He's blue collar.
Yeah. And he started out, working the factory line, and then he's kind of worked his way up to a management position there. But he's calling it quits end of this year after 40 some years.
Yeah. And I know your mom passed away recently. I just want to acknowledge that and hope you're doing well, man. And were your how was growing up? Were your parents married? All all throughout that time?
Yep. Married. I had a younger sister, and so they grew up small town, the same town their whole life, right? And then right next door, my grandparents, my mom's mom and dad lived right next to us.
You had the whole compound right
by
by
you. And uncle lived right next door there too. So,
yeah.
Growing up, is a lot of family stuff that we did. Every Sunday we would go to grandma's for dinner after church or for lunch. And birthdays, everybody got together for birthdays, Christmas, all the holidays. So, the nice thing about it is everything, we not only did all that stuff in the same town, we literally just walked across the street to do celebrations.
So you were a pretty tight family growing up then.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, what about school? Were you, how were you in school? Were you straight A's, C's, B's? Did you care?
It's not that I didn't care. I didn't care to get straight A's. I didn't want C's and D's either. So I was probably a B student.
Yeah.
And I could have worked harder.
Yeah.
I just didn't care, I guess.
I hear you. Yeah. I just did enough to get by in school, honestly.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I did enough to not get in trouble or look too bad, is kind of the way I approached it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then was sports a big part of growing up for you?
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
What all did you play?
Whatever was in season.
Yeah.
So
you played everything.
Yeah. The beauty of growing up small town, you could
everything.
just fall it was football. Then as soon as football's over, we go to basketball, and then for me in Iowa in the spring, we don't play spring baseball. We do it in the summer.
Yeah.
So in the spring I played golf, and then in the summer was baseball.
So you did golf, football, baseball, basketball, all those.
Mm-hmm.
What were you pretty good athlete? Were you all conference, all state, anything like that?
Yeah, football is my sport. So
what'd you play?
Receiver.
Okay.
Yep. So receiver was I think I was all state my junior and senior year in high school, and then
captain too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then basketball, we were actually, that was probably our best sport. We weren't that good in football.
Yeah.
We made the playoffs 1 year I was in high school, which was actually a huge accomplishment because prior to that we were losing seasons every year. But basketball was our sport. We're notorious for basketball, so we're always good in that. And so we had some really good basketball teams. They actually won a state championship after I left, I think the year or two after. But golf was my other probably best sport. I was a pretty good golfer. And then
golf's your thing now, right? That's your go-to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you do any hobbies now, but
not many, honestly.
Yeah. There's still that competitive outlet you got to have.
Yeah.
We can't play football anymore. I don't what else are you going to do? I'm 40 now, and I don't really want to play pickup basketball. I don't really care to play pickleball anymore.
Yeah.
And golf is
I've heard you're pretty damn good at golf.
Yeah, it helps, when you're good at it. It makes it more fun too.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I'm doing 120, it's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's you kind of either got to be just if you're bad, you just got to go and just totally not care.
Yeah.
But golf's one of those things where I'm if I play bad, I don't like to play it. So it's I kind of got to I still practice a little bit to try to stay sharp, and it's a whole different animal when you're out there actually playing competitively. It's such a mental it's a mental game.
Well, I mean that's a lot of correlation with business. I mean you've seen what I've done with football and business and all these different things. I mean you were a captain, you were a leader. Do you feel all this competitive sports prepared you to do what you're doing today and lead a team in a business and a company? Yeah,
for sure. A lot of that translates, right? So I mean, and you and I are so similar because you went right into coaching right out of college, right?
Yep.
I mean, if I had to go back and do things over again right out of college, I mean, that's kind of where my intuition was taking me.
Yep.
Was to go down I didn't know anything else, right? I played football, and
that's honestly the only reason I went that way because I didn't know anything.
Yeah, what else are you gonna do? Yeah, it's I go get a job at Wells Fargo or something, into banking. I'm that doesn't sound fun. And then you just get into coaching and you kind of go up the ladder. That's really probably where I should have gone, but I got into the insurance gig, but Football was the only thing I knew, like growing up, and once I got into college, that's I'm like, then you're like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
So,
No,
but I think the principle, the discipline, and not just football, but I think sports in general, right?
Yeah.
The discipline, like getting up, 5 a.m. lifting weights. Still balancing academics along with it. You don't get home some nights till 9, 10 o'clock. Like all that I think it develops your work ethic, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And it develops, you have to develop on being around people and helping them and the teamwork, right? So I think you just all kind of translates over to what we do now.
I mean, I always say, you're a father now. I've got 2 young girls, and I say, like, the public, the private school, like, that's never been a big deal to me. The one big deal to me is sports. Like, if my daughters could have a great coach, if one of my daughters wants to play sports and they become good at it, that would really influence me wanting to put them with a good coach, because I believe that a good coach and a good program instills so many core values into your life, and that translate to all aspects of life. And I think what you're saying right now and showing is that when you played sports at the highest of levels, I mean, that translated heavily. You played in college, you said. Where'd you go to college at?
Wartburg.
Wartburg. I know Wartburg.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you play football there, receiver?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you may not remember, what years were you in college? When did you go to college?
I was 2000. I graduated high school 2007, so it would have been 2007, 2011, because we played Wartburg in Milliken, I believe, right? At some point.
Yeah, we played them my first freshman year.
Yep.
I played at
Did you
Wartburg.
crush us?
It wasn't. No, I don't think I think it was a close game.
It might have been when I was a freshman.
I know we won both games. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I
it was
remember
the
when
first game of the season, because I don't think.
Yeah, we were playing you guys, so it would have been. I think it would have been the 07 or 08 season.
No, it was 04, 05.
Okay, then I wasn't around yet.
Yeah.
I was still in high school.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys played Milliken, because I remember we were still playing them on some type of run when I came in there. Maybe at the JV level too. But so Wartburg, you were receiver. Were you guys pretty good college-wise?
Yeah, we were like probably the best team in the state. I think Wartburg's notorious for like being an athletic powerhouse, like D3 school.
And you played all 4 years?
No. So I was, after my sophomore year, I left and actually went to Iowa. But I didn't play football there.
Yeah.
I left. If I could go do it over again, I probably should have gone to Northwest Missouri State. That's like D2. That's like, that would have been a good fit for me. Iowa I was too slow and
You went to Iowa and walked on?
No, I did not play there.
Okay.
No, I didn't play.
Okay.
No, I just went to Iowa to school.
I was going to say, I did not know that.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
If I had to do over again, I probably would just go walk on just for the heck of it. But, back then it's like you learn so much as you get older. And the thing that attracted me to Iowa at the time was like, the fun parts of it and not so much like, we go and just get beat up and to run down on kickoff a little bit. I wasn't going to play too much.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's probably not worth it.
Yeah, I say football. I mean, I played all 4 years in the Division III level as a captain, all that stuff. And, man, if it wasn't for football, I think I would have probably drank my college years away.
Well,
yeah.
I
don't know if I would have made it all 4 years. Let me put it that way.
And you can still have some fun too playing. Oh yeah,
sports, I had a lot of fun still. I'm just saying I probably would have had too much fun.
Yeah. You just kind of do stuff because the other thing about it is like the discipline part is like you're accountable, to your teammates,
absolutely.
to your coaches, and you don't want to do something that is going to affect them negatively. So it helps you kind of keep your head on straight too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you transferred to Iowa. What did you major in? What was your academics in college?
It was going to be business, and then I just did this one major called interdepartmental studies. It's like a major they made up.
Yeah, sounds like mine, sports management.
Yeah,
what are you going to do with sports management?
Yeah, it's basically it was a mix of business and communication.
Okay.
So, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, and that was the big struggle too. I got out of college, and I'm just like, okay, now what? And my buddy's like, oh, I'm a financial advisor with Wells Fargo, and he's way smarter than I am. So I'm like, that doesn't sound too fun. And so I went to my academic advisor, and I'm like, hey, look, I don't know what I want to do here. Like, help me out. And she's like, okay, take this test or whatever, and it's going to tell you maybe who would be
Tell
good
you
for
what to do.
yeah. And then so I'm like,
I
based
remember the academic advisor deal. It's like everybody had one, and
yeah.
I don't remember them doing much for me, but it sounds like they had you take a test.
Well,
and,
they just meet with you and
Yeah.
ask, just somebody that kind of you can talk to
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
need to. But anyway, they're like, take this personality test or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I did that. And then she's like, all right, well, here's the people coming to the career fair that might be a fit for you. And she laid out Northwestern Mutual as one of them. I'm like, oh, insurance. Okay, my uncle sells insurance. He does P&C guy at home. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go talk to him. And they had some really, pretty lady there, recruiter. And she's like, okay, yeah, we'll get back to you. And, I was like, okay, well, that's it. And so I was like kind of walking out of there with my tail between my legs, and this big guy steps out in front of me, and he's like, hey, saw you over there talking to Northwest. I'm Clint, and it is a Mass Mutual guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. And he's like, he used to play at Iowa. And so we like hit it off instantly, right? And so I'm like,
Your love language is Iowa football.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But this was at the Iowa career fair, you know. So, but yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, you're cool, man. Like, let's, he's like, you want to go meet up and I'll tell you all about it. So I'm like, okay, cool. And so that's how I got into insurance is with Mass Mutual.
From a career fair.
Yep. Because my academic advisor says, you should talk to Northwest Mutual.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know what they were, what they were about. But Mass Mutual is where I ended up starting.
So we're transitioning to kind of the career part of your life. I want to backtrack real quick. I always ask this question because I believe it's so true. Rene Rodriguez, I studied under him for a while. And one thing he teaches that I believe is some of the most influential years of your life are 9 to 13. And there's somebody in your life that has a major impact there. Were your parents those people, or who was that? Who were those people from 9 to 13 or that point in your life that you feel like had a big impact on your life?
Parents would probably be number one there. And I think that's part of where some of our work ethic comes from too is I had a paper route, growing up.
Yeah.
I had to do that, And
5 a.m., right? Something like that?
I didn't do the morning shift. I would do the afternoon shift.
That's my kind of shift, yeah.
But basically what it would do, the day before we get the papers, and then I'd have to like roll them all up, and then the next day I'd go and deliver them on my bike or walk. And so I did that for a while. And then I worked at the local grocery store as well, too.
Okay.
So I kind of had these jobs as well, growing up. And then I'd go out and worked at my dad's glass factory, too, in the summers. So that...
And your parents are pretty hard-working, disciplined people?
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Instilled those values.
Your typical, hardworking, Midwest family probably is where I got a lot of that from.
Very positive influences, though, on your early life, it sounds like.
Yeah. My dad, he got me into sports, and my aunt and uncle were big golfers, so they got me into golf, and it was fun just hanging out. He coached football for a little bit too, and
cool.
And that's kind of segue off of that. Like people are always like, well, why are you a New York Jets fan? You live in Iowa or from Iowa. That doesn't make any sense. Like my grandpa was a pilot, so I should throw him in here too. He also was a very hardworking guy, but he was like the handyman guy. Like he taught me all like the handyman stuff.
Pretty handy guy.
Yeah. I'm not that great now, but he'd teach you how to like fish and all that stuff, the hunting and do all the country stuff with them. Yeah.
Life's essentials.
My grandpa was not. You couldn't talk about sports with him. He did not care at all.
Yeah.
But you take him hunting, fishing, like he'll tell you all about it, right?
Yeah.
That's where he got excited. But football, sports, he's like, But it was cool to have that mix,
Yeah, you had a great mix. You had the sports, the work ethic, the hunting, the fishing, the outdoors, all that type of stuff. That's awesome. And then so jobs growing up, you were a paper boy.
Yep.
And then what did you do at the grocery store?
Started out just doing we'd deliver the groceries out to the cars, and then you'd stock the shelves. And then part of it too is when the truck would come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning at like 5 a.m. So you'd stock the shelves before the store opened. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah. And then any other jobs before Mass Mutual came along? Yes. Well, in college, I worked, when I went to Iowa, I worked at athletic facilities. Yep. So, you ever see the guys when you kick a field goal or extra point, you've got to put the nets up. Yeah. So that was you. That was part of our gig, was to put the nets up. And there's a lot of other stuff involved with it too, but it was really cool to like get paid to like literally just sit on the field to watch games. And same thing for like basketball games. You sit courtside and.
So at the Iowa, you were doing all the you were at all the sporting
athletic
events,
facilities. Yeah,
and that explains why you're probably such a major sports fan there, as you were so involved in it.
Yeah, well, it was a cool job because you gotta meet people with the job, and then you gotta go around and like do all the sporting events and get paid. You know, so which you're gonna go watch it anyway, so you might as well sit courtside and get paid, and you gotta set up and tear down a little bit, but
And I mean, I know we haven't got into the meat of this yet, and it's incredible now. You built this massive agency, and it's really digital. I think that's going to be one of the storylines that people are going to be really excited about. Is you've done something that I don't know many people that have done, is build a remote multi-seven-figure agency. So I'm excited to get into that. But we transition out of that. You got a lot of discipline growing up. You got a great work ethic, and then just like anybody else, I mean, just like my story, like you said, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do after college. I went into college coaching. You went into Mass Mutual, and explain what that is, or like what that job start was, and what that dinner. Take us back to that dinner and what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know much about insurance except that I heard people who did insurance, they made good money, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's figure this out. And my experience at Mass Mutual was actually terrible.
Yeah.
I got in there and
what kind of insurance was that?
So Mass Mutual, they want you to sell their flagship product is their whole life product, just like Northwest Mutual, right? They want you to go and sell the whole life product and life insurance. They do some annuities too, but so I get in there and they're like, okay, I need you to fill out this sheet of 200 people you know. I'm like, okay, that's kind of
the
weird.
old fill out everybody you know.
But then I start doing it and I'm like, okay, I did that, now what? And they're like, okay, now you're going to call them all. I go, wait a second, what? It's like, yeah, you're going to call them all, and you're going to go with your manager and meet with them. I'm like, I mean, I got my dad's friends on this. It was hard for me to find 200 people.
If I had to write down 200 people right now, and I know a lot of people, it would be hard for me to write.
It was hard. Like I'm thinking of just people in my hometown that I kind of know, but not really. And then so they're like, okay, you're just going to call them up. And then I made a few calls, and I'm like, you just felt like icky and weird. And I'm like, okay, I can't do this. I'll do, what else can I do? Like, there's got to be something. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
What else can I do? The guy's like, well, you could cold call for long-term care. I'm like, okay, how do I do that?
Yeah.
And so he gave me this list of names and numbers around town, people like age, 50 and up or whatever. And so I just chicken pecked the phone all day long, and it's funny, like the agents are like, you say, hey, you didn't even make 100 dials or whatnot, it's like, I was making 100 dials a day easy, just I did chicken peck everything,
Oh,
and no, okay.
Our agents now are so spoiled, they don't realize, like, I remember knocking on doors every day, I remember cold calling, and now they just wake up and they got 10 to 15 appointments on their calendar. I'm like, you guys got no clue what it was like.
Yeah, I know.
We sound old as hell.
I know, right? We do. But it's true, like back in the day, like the technology today is like, it's so much different and it's so much better, right? And so, but we did what we had to do. I set a couple appointments from doing that, as crazy as it sounds. Most people told
just
me
straight long-term care.
Yeah,
leads.
you just happen to catch one person who happened to be thinking about it, and they're like, you go out and see them, and then my manager, we ended up writing a couple policies out of the deal, and then you get in the door to maybe write an annuity or two. But that didn't really.
So you were doing a lot of belly-to-belly selling at that point.
Well, that's all it was. Yeah, we'd call them up and go see them, right?
Yeah.
And so we'd go to their house.
And do you feel like you developed sales skills at this point? Because right now, what you're telling me is like, this is where you're developing sales skills. Is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, there wasn't like, I don't remember any like formal
system
sales
program,
training. It was more so like set appointments with you and your manager, and you just shadow your manager, right? And we just like, they had no good system in place. So I fizzled out because it's like, well, this is stupid. Like, but to continue on with this is, so this wasn't working well. And a guy happened to start working.
How old are you at this point?
Right out of college.
Got it.
23, 22.
Yeah.
And just happened so a guy came in the cube right next to me. His name was Lauren Sherman. And so
Lauren Sherman?
Lauren Sherman.
Lauren Sherman, shout out.
Yep. So, yeah, thank you, Lauren. So he goes, well, this is kind of crazy that you're doing this. Have you ever heard of a med sup? I'm like, no, what's that? He's like, come on back here. And so we went in the conference room.
Lord, come on back here.
He went in the conference room, and it was probably about an hour or so. He just broke down MedSups for me. Here's what it is. Here's what it does. Here's Medicare.
And they were the same at that point. I mean, Medicare supplements have always been the same, right?
Oh yeah. Since like 1992 or whatever. Yeah. So he's telling me, back then Plan F was the plan. That's all you sold was Plan F.
I mean, I got in around 2017, 18. Plan F was the plan until 2020.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, nobody bought anything but Plan F back then. That's all you had to sell. So he just goes, hey, this is Medicare. This is a supplement. This is what it covers, and then people pay a premium for it, and then you just need to find another company that get them a better price for the same coverage. I'm like, that's it?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I go, what am I doing calling for long-term care? Like, I could just start calling for this. And so I went and got a contract with Family Life.
Family Life
Back in, this 2012 or whatever maybe. And so I never forget this. So I went out. I'm still working at Mass Mutual at this time, but I went out and got a Family Life contract outside of them, and then I called up a guy, gave him a quote, and met him at McDonald's, and that's where I sold my first MedSup. In like 2012 or 13 was at McDonald's.
Yeah, I've sold many MedSups at McDonald's.
Yeah. I bought him a coffee, and he didn't want to do it because he had Blue Cross. Back then you don't go away from Blue Cross.
People still have that same objection.
Yeah. But even back then it was even worse because they're just like, no.
So you're 22, 23, and you sold your first MedSup.
Yep. And then Mass, they said, hey, you're not making any money for us, and then you're doing this MedSup stuff, so it was kind of a mutual parting at that point. And then I went over to Heartland Retirement, which, have you heard of them at all? They're a big agency in Des Moines, Iowa. The ASB is,
Oh yeah, I know ASB. Yeah.
So they had just opened an office.
Are they under ASB?
Yes.
Okay.
Just opened their Des Moines office.
Yeah.
Like I was literally the second or third agent there.
Yeah.
And right now, you can fact check me on this, but I think they might be the largest.
Keegan, do you fact check as well? Yeah.
I think they might be the largest agency with ASB right now today. Yeah. But back then, I was like the first or second one there. So guess what?
You're the first or second agent ever there?
Out of the Des Moines office,
yeah,
yes. Okay. So guess, when you're that early, what's a big thing that you don't have figured out at that point? If an agency, you're just starting an agency, their marketing was, oh, here's a list of people.
Yeah.
Call them up and you say, hey, we got the Medicare updates for you. We're going to be at your house, at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And they're like, okay, see you then. And it's kind of one of those appointments, right? So you book your day full of appointments, you get no-showed half the day, and you get into a few houses. But that's what we did is, we went and tried
Better system I had. I just had a lead list, turn in 65, go knock on their door. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even have that.
You didn't even have,
No.
Yeah. Oh, we just said, hey, we'll get your Medicare updates out to you, and you just have the guidebook, and
I like that intro, honestly. I mean, that's kind of smooth. Like, hey, I got your Medicare updates.
Yeah.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. So, but you know how that goes. You do get into some houses, and you can write some business, but then you get the dogs jumping on you. And
how long do you run that model for?
So I didn't last there very long either, just because
And that seems like the typical story I see. It's like right now you're jumping around, right? You're finding your footing. And
it wasn't even a year I lasted there.
So between Mass Mutual and Heartland, not even how much time have you spent?
I think Mass, I was there a year and a half, and it was probably...
Oh, you were at Mass a year and a half, okay.
It was probably a year too long, honestly.
Yeah.
The fortunate thing was I was single, and I didn't need a lot of money at that time, so I was just kind of screwing off there. And
bed on the floor, no bed frame. And then you're at Heartland how long?
Not even a year.
Yeah.
So not even a year there.
Well, what makes you so you're 2 years in here. It doesn't sound like you made much money. It doesn't sound like you've had really much success.
Yeah.
And I hear this a lot when people are talking through here. It's like you're just kind of going through this kind of weird stage. What makes you keep going? Like, this is the industry I want to keep doing. Why didn't you do something else?
I did.
Okay.
So
here we go.
I went and sold mortgages.
Okay.
So my buddy was working for Wells Fargo. It was during the refi boom.
Yep.
Right. So I hit him up. I'm like, dude.
What year is this?
Well, this would be
right after the recession, 2011?
This would be 2013 now, probably-ish, and but the refi boom, I feel like was several years, right?
Yeah,
everybody's refiing and interest rates. And so I'm like, hey, I hear you're doing good things over there. And so he's like, yeah, I'll see if I can get you a job. So I got a job there doing mortgages. It was awesome for, it was just inbound calls, right?
Yeah.
People calling, I want to refinance. Okay,
Yeah, order taken.
Yeah, that's all it was. And I was like, okay, this is boring, but if I just do a bunch of these,
it's boring.
You're making good money. And I got my first couple of commission checks there. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. How much? So you're 25 at this point?
Mm-hmm.
So how much? Let's back up just a little bit. How much did you make when you're at Mass Mutual and selling your first couple of med subs?
Gosh,
Nothing?
I mean, it's, it pennies.
Yeah.
I think my manager went out and he wrote like a variable annuity on somebody that he split with me.
Yeah.
Because I had to beg him to like split it,
Yeah.
And so I made a few bucks off of that. But other than that, the only money I made was I wrote a couple long-term care deals here or there, and my manager did. And
so maybe over the course of a year and a half, 2 years, you made
it wasn't much at all.
$20,000-$30,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was bad.
So you're now selling mortgages. You're refining.
Yep.
You're making some good money.
Yep.
Take us back. Where are we at now?
Well, so this is maybe, I don't know, another 6 months into it or so. And guess what happens on Monday? They come out and say, okay, everybody, here's our new comp schedule.
Slashed it.
Everybody's making too much money.
Yeah.
And so they slashed it. And I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, it's Wells Fargo. Like, how are they just cut? I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, we're just going to, change it a little. I mean, it was massive.
Like a 50%.
It was big, to where I'm like, wait, I got to do the same. I do the same amount of production. I'm making like half the amount of money. I'm like, why are we not with pitchforks at the manager's door?
Yeah.
We should all be like on strike, from this. And everybody's just like, oh, just it's business. Yeah. I'm like, what is it? And then so that made me really mad. I did stay there because I'm like, well, what else am I going to do? And then my manager was like, I think I left one day like maybe 3 minutes early or something. And, instead of just telling me the next day, he's like, hey, you can't have you leave early. He sends me like this passive aggressive email. And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So I called Lauren back. Yep. And it's like Lauren.
Lauren's back in the picture.
Yep. So then he actually had an opening at his house he was living at. So I ended up moving in with him, and he's still doing insurance. I'm like, okay, he's doing insurance. Like he's not. I don't see him working that hard. Like, I got to be able to figure this thing out. So
Is that all he did was sell med subs?
No, he actually was doing a lot of other stuff too, like life insurance and retirement. He's a former Bankers Life agent. Which the one thing I'll say about Bankers Life, if anybody's
spread far,
they have a phenomenal training program from the get-go. Like they really train their agents good. You know, their products maybe aren't the greatest, but any Bankers Life agent I know, sometimes ethically and morally, they aren't always. You can be questionable with some of them, but the good ones, they realize, they get the good training and then they go off on their own and do something.
Yeah.
And so that was him. And so I basically just kind of started, I'm like, hey man, I got to figure out this insurance thing. And right as that happened, I found Chris Westfall.
I didn't know you linked up with Chris Westfall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So now we're probably 2014-ish maybe. But he had a website he started, Sell Medicare by Phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, well, this sounds awesome. How are we going to do this? Because I didn't want to go out and see people anymore because I didn't want to sit on stinky couches and dogs jumping on me with muddy paws and getting my clothes dirty and traveling and getting no-showed. And so he's like, sell Medicare by phone. And at this time, Mutual of Omaha is the first one to come out with an e-app. The e-apps aren't that... they haven't been around forever.
No, I
back
remember
in the
CSI.
day,
do you ever write CSI?
A little bit. Yeah,
they came out with the e-app.
Yeah,
I know you're talking
Central
about
States Indemnity.
Yep. When e-apps came out, it was like a revolution.
Yeah, it is. And so, so what I do, I linked up with Chris, and so I'm like, okay, I like what you're preaching here. So I went out to a couple of his events that he hosted, and so I got back into it. I worked out of the basement. Just kind of like a desk like this, had my computer there and had my list of names and numbers and just chicken pecked away and called them up. And then I would instead of just saying, hey, I'm going to get your Medicare updates out to you, and just go see him, I would qualify him on the phone, which wasn't really a thing back then, because you could. The thing was just get in the house and sell something.
Yeah,
but
now everybody thinks like, well, duh, but that was
right
not
back then. And I'm like,
you were just hoping to get in front of them.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I don't want to drive an hour away to see this person and find out they're on, they're a deathbed and I can't rewrite them. Yeah. So I'd ask them the health questions on the phone and qualify them and basically close the deal on the phone.
Yeah.
And then I'd just say, okay, well, I'm gonna, I'll come out tomorrow and we'll write up the application. And so I'd go out, and basically when I got in the house, the deal was closed. We just had to sign off on everything.
Yeah.
So I did that for...
So you would say Chris Westfall's model or what he taught you started changing things or started giving you momentum?
Yeah, definitely. Because then he got into like, okay, you could actually just do all of this over the phone. You wouldn't even necessarily have to go see him.
Yeah.
And then that's where the e-apps started to come around. And so then I was able to just do everything just by phone and Equitable Life.
Yeah, I remember them.
Okay, yeah. So then their e-app, that's who we wrote a bunch of, was Equitable Life.
Yep. Those rates blew up. I remember
they
those
did,
rates
yeah.
blew up. And they were taking everything. They took COPD.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yep.
You get old MedSup veteran sitting across from me.
Yeah, it takes you back.
So you're 26, 27 now, right?
Yep.
And you're back in the Medicare game.
Yep.
Chris Westfall. I mean, are you close with Chris Westfall? I text him pretty often and I'm trying to get him in here. So were you close with him for years? Or you still talk to him?
Yeah, I still talk to him. See him on some carrier trips, and he's. I think he's kind of getting out of the industry now. But I mean, to me, he's like, if it wasn't for, well, I guess you start with Lauren, right?
Yeah.
Because he's the one who showed me a med sup. I maybe would have.
I want a picture of Lauren that we can post up here. I got this image of Lauren in my head. I want a picture of him to see what Lauren looks like.
He's a great buddy of mine still to this day. We talk a lot. But yeah, and then Chris, kind of helped me. So then we from me just cold calling everybody.
Yeah.
Then with Chris's help, and Joe would probably tell you this too, but we hired. This is where the VAs.
Did you meet Joe back then too?
Kinda, yeah. Yep. And then so the VAs would come into play now. So we hired the VAs to be the fronters to call.
When you were young, at 27, 28, you're
this is after
You've been running VAs for 13, 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So a lot of people think the VA stuff's like a fairly new thing.
You've been doing it for
years. Yeah. Because you get sick of cold calling yourself, right? I mean, you get burnt out, and you're like, okay, I need to spend my time talking to the qualified people. So then we hired the VAs to call and get them interested, and then I was just running appointments with people who are qualified.
Well, I want to go in depth here. I know this is like, people are probably going to fast forward to this part because you are like the VA king. You run a virtual agency with how many agents right now?
We have 9 producing agents right now.
9 LOA agents, right?
Yep.
And I mean, we're talking a high producing team. You guys are doing how many apps a week or a month right now?
I mean, with AEP, it's probably a little bit higher volume than normal, right? But our goal is we want to have each agent do 50 applications a month.
Yeah, that's the standard is 50 apps a month.
Yeah, and that's that's kind of like the minimum I would say we should be at. Most of the agents are doing in between that, and 100's a little bit aggressive. That's maybe 1 or 2 times a year, but somewhere right in between that range is a typical
so you're humming
month for us.
You're averaging around 500 a month, somewhere in that range?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a extremely high producing per agent on that. But it took you a long time to get there. So I want to go back to the virtual assistants. Can you walk us through, so it's just you at this point, right? How did you use, like if somebody who's never used a VA, how did you use a VA to expedite your growth and your time as a solo agent?
Well, it's just thinking of all the stuff you don't want to do
Yep.
and see if they could replace that, right?
And why didn't you just hire an employee?
Cost.
Yep.
I didn't have the money.
Yep. How'd you find these VAs? Was that through Westfall? I
think so. I think maybe he on his training platform had like a link, like onlinejobs.ph. There's different sites like that where I found them, Upwork, things like that, and the cool thing about them is they stay loyal to you. If you treat them right, they do a fantastic job for you, and you just have to treat them good, pay them well, and they'll be loyal to you. And they do an amazing job. Like they don't really call in sick, and they show up to work on time. It's really the best employee you can get. It's phenomenal. So we've been working with them a long time.
They're incredible.
Yeah, they're great people, and and they're fun to have on our team, and they bring in a lot of revenue to our bottom line, especially with the webinars now.
Yeah. But as a solo agent, you were just using these people to front load, as you say, so they were calling leads to set the appointments for you.
Yeah.
Preventing you. So did you notice pretty quickly that you were just filling up your calendar with qualified leads and you weren't doing any outbounding?
Right. Well, the only outbound I'd do is just the appointment calling. And
you were calling the preset appointment.
Yep. So I'd hire one and then hired a couple more until my calendar was like maxed out.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's kind of where you're like, okay, well, I can't do anymore.
Yeah. So you got to the point where your personal time, there was literally nothing left on your calendar.
Right.
So then you started hiring.
Right.
But instead of hiring somebody that you knew locally in an office, all your employees are virtual, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have an office right now, right?
Correct.
So the closest employee you have lives how close?
Well, so I'll take you a step back here because to draw this connection, so I was just calling out of the basement, right, on my own, and then I'm like, okay, I need to hire somebody. Well, in between there, I was getting a little cabin fever just working out of the basement by myself.
Yeah.
So then I moved to Arizona. I found an agency down there.
You've lived in Arizona that long?
Okay,
here we go.
Yes.
Sorry.
So 2016, I moved to Arizona and linked up with this agency because I'm like, oh, they're selling all over the phone. I went out and visited with them. Like,
who was that?
I think it's like Life and Health Benefits of America or something. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I want to sell all over the country, all over the phone. And you guys are doing that. I want to come down here, work for you. I've always wanted to come to Arizona. So I get down there, and again, like 6 months into it, I'm just like, these people are like not who I thought they were. I thought it was like a polished shop, coming in to work for you or something, or work for what we got now. And it's just like people are just kind of going in and out doing whatever. And I'm like, this is not what I envisioned it to be. And I'll never forget during AEP, we did like a little meeting at the end of AEP. And they're like, all right, top producer, John Smith, 300 applications. I'm like, dang, that's impressive. I'm like, hey, John, how did you do this? Like, that's cool. Like, I want to learn. Yeah. He goes, well, I just went out and saw all my clients and sold them a policy. I'm like, wait, so like at the time, this is back, like I think it was Scan or somebody was having a planned exit. Yeah. So all he did was just go back and save his clients. He didn't write new business. Right. He just went back and rewrote. Right. I'm like, wait, so you just went back and just like basically saved all these people? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, you didn't really write anything then. New business. Yeah. Here he is like getting an award for 300 apps. I'm like, I think I wrote 20. And I'm like, technically I did more than him, So, but I just like, these people are weird. So I'm out. So then I went and worked from home again, doing the
Back in Iowa?
Nope, back in Arizona, out of the house. I was living out in Arizona. But again, it's like the thing that I keep coming back to here is just working out of your house by yourself. Making good money, it has its pros, but to me it's like you just you get lonely, especially me being in a new city. I didn't know nobody. I was like, okay, it's working, but it's not, I'm not like super happy with it. And then so my other buddy called me. He's like, hey, I got an awesome office location in Des Moines. Check it out. And he showed me a video of it. Had like a little bullpen call center, a sweet office. I'm like, you know what? It's a sign, So then I am just moving back to Des Moines after a couple of years in Arizona. And then we had the Des Moines office. And that's where I hired the guy who hired me at Wells Fargo. I had called him up and said, hey, you want to come sell insurance with me? And by this time, the refi boom was kind of going away. So then he recruited me to sell mortgages, and I recruited him to.
Is he still with you?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So.
But pausing right there, atmospheres, I've always been a big believer in the atmosphere, your work environment, everything. We have multiple brick and mortar offices. We've created a massive community. I just think the people around you affects everything. And I've been on the opposite side of it too, as I was knocking on doors. I basically worked out of my car. And days where things weren't going well, it was really easy to pack it in. And because there's no one there keeping you accountable.
Yeah.
It was just easy to feel sorry for yourself or go to the gym or whatever. Yep. And I just think being around other people and having a team can change so much of that. So you went back to Iowa.
Yep.
and then got into kind of a bullpen atmosphere. How was that?
Yeah, well, that was good because, I mean, then I went and hired him, and then I hired another one of my good buddies. And so
when you say hired them, what did that look like? Were they LOAs at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just, back then I didn't have the money to pay anybody's salary or anything, so we just put them on a 50% contract, right? They get half of what I got, and that's what we did. That's all I knew to do.
Yeah.
So, so they, so that was fun because I had 3 of my who I'd say are really good friends to this day still. Like the other guy who was working out there was more of a financial advisor guy that I still work with. That does our annuities.
Oh, that's the guy that does your annuities.
Yep.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So we were all working out of this office together, and it was cool, because we just we had that atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Well, then COVID happened, right? And so now we're all back to working from home. So this whole virtual agency that I have kind of just morphed into, like, it wasn't done intentionally. It's COVID happened, and then when COVID happened, we all started working from home. Well, guess what? Then our production actually went up. Like, everybody started writing more business. So I couldn't really just force everybody back into the office and say, hey, we're going to go start working back in the office again. And plus, most of the people on my team have kids, and the one thing the work from home thing does help is if you got to take kids to school, you just run them to school, come back home. Your commute to work is down the hallway, right? So that is some of the benefits of it. But yeah, you do miss the team atmosphere stuff, and the communication, I think, sometimes gets lost being virtual, where you could just like go down the hallway here and talk about something instead of like, a lot of texting and stuff can sometimes not get communicated properly, or can be taken a different way than it was meant to be.
I tell you what, some texting can ruin a lot of things rather than just picking up the phone and calling somebody.
Right.
In our agency now, we have an all-team meeting every single day because we have 2 brick and mortars. We have just 2 agents that work remotely. And I stray away from it just on my past experience and the production we got. Our 2 remote people are awesome right now. One's one of our directors, Matt Mounticelli. I don't know if you met him. But we have an all-team meeting every day. So it's a virtual aspect. It's on Zoom. And then our 2 offices go kind of separate ways. But we're communicating throughout the day, and we see a significant difference when you have other people around you. Mm-hmm. I mean, just the atmosphere and just the ability to feed off each other is crazy or anything. So we love that. But you found a way to make it really successful not being around each other every day. So you've got a couple agents at this point coming out of COVID. Mm-hmm. And now you've got how many team members do you have today, including VAs? You got how many VAs working for you?
I think there's 4 or 5. So I think total on the team there's 14.
Yeah, 14.
Counting everybody.
Yep, 14. And you're doing 500 apps a month, which is crazy volume for that number. And so you're coming out of COVID and you start hiring more. I mean, what was your philosophy coming out of COVID?
When I got into this business, I didn't really even have the thought of, like some of the young guys these days, they're coming out of college like, oh, I'm going to build an agency and scale. Yeah,
that was never a thought for you.
No, it just wasn't in our programming. I was like, well, I'm just going to be a solo agent and, just do my thing. But then you kind of learn, as you go, you're like, okay, I could build this thing out a little bit. And so I very little have I really like hired intentionally. Yeah. It's just more so people like just kind of come to you and are like, hey, what are you doing? Like Becky, who's one of our top producers, I actually went to college with her, and she went into insurance, but she went with like Guardian, I think, or something. Yeah. So kind of the same deal like Mass Mutual, where she would call me all the time just like to basically complain, and I just kind of listened to her. And then finally one day I was just like, look, here's the deal. Take a leap of faith, come over here, okay? What do you got to lose, right? I think I can help you a lot, and, if I don't, then at least we tried, Like, what do we have to lose at this point? You're not happy here. You're calling me a lot, like saying, hey, it's this, I don't like this or that, and I'm like, and I know you're dang good, like you're talented, right? So it's not you, it's just the position you're in right now. So I think I can help you. And she's been with us, is it 4 years now or so? And she's phenomenal. So,
well, I mean, I think going back to your own advice there, a lot of these things weren't working for you leading up to this point. Like you were jumping from Wells Fargo, you were at Mass Mutual, then you went out to Arizona, and then you went back to Iowa. What made you keep going in the financial and insurance space? Like, why didn't you just say, like, this is not working, like, I'm done?
It's a good question. I mean, I think I was just stubborn and bullheaded, and it's like there was something that was telling me that I think it was more so like I seen other people in the business doing it, and it's like I know how to work hard. It's just I need to figure out the marketing part.
Yeah.
And I never really had that dialed down very well until then. I guess you could say, Josh Lustig probably was the pioneer of the webinars out of COVID, right?
Yep.
And so that's the first time where I felt really good about, because the VAs with doing the Medicare rewrites, the supplement rewrites, that works. But the problem is you gotta underwrite, right? So you get somebody who wants to save money, but you can't help them because half the people get declined and can't qualify, right? So it's really frustrating, and my agents were getting frustrated with that, and it was kind of a grind, So thank God we found this webinar model out of COVID, which was a huge blessing, because if we had not found that, I don't know. I mean, we would have figured something out.
Changed my life too.
But
There's no doubt.
it's.
I mean, the Turning 65 model, like you said, there's always a place for somebody.
Yeah.
And what we do now with the umbrella, even if they're staying on employer coverage, I mean, we can still write business on them. So it's just such a profitable and lucrative funnel that it just keeps loading and loading and loading.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's been fun to see people like yourself and Joe and the countless others that are doing this model successfully, and it gives you the confidence that it's working.
Yeah.
And it gives you the confidence that you can go out, and my big fear was like hiring somebody and then not doing my job to make them, like, they fail, not because they're bad, but because the marketing was bad. Like I go back to the Heartland situation, like you get a guy like me or yourself who comes in and wants to work for you and it doesn't work out, like, that's probably more of a marketing issue, and I didn't want to put my agents in that position. So once we started getting the webinar stuff figured out, it like gave me a bunch of confidence to say, okay, we got something good here, and you can be successful. You just got to plug in.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about it all the time, optimize, amplify, and scale. And I mean, marketing, sales, all those things are huge, but I always talk about leadership and development is one of the toughest things, in my opinion, to teach and do. I mean, development of agents, I mean, you've got a great work ethic. You don't quit. But everybody didn't have that.
Right.
You got to develop a lot of different people and lead a lot of different people. So, I mean, to do what you've done, I think, the marketing's great, but there's obviously something there on the leadership and development side from what you've learned over the years. I mean, I guess that would be my next question, is over these 4 or 5 years where you're kind of going here. I mean, where did the leadership and the development aspect come from that now you're leading a team of people? Did you develop any of that along the way?
I think it's a combination of stuff you've maybe seen or been a part of in the past. Like if you think to former, like, maybe you're talking about coaches, right?
Yeah.
Like former, if you had either a football or basketball coach or somebody who you really enjoyed working with, like just thinking of the stuff that happened during that, why were they somebody that you liked and respected? And then also taking nuggets from other people in the industry as far as like, okay, they're successful, and then, what qualities do they have as well that you can kind of like piggyback off of. And then some of it's just you learn on the job too, I'm definitely made some leadership mistakes, and I'm not always the best leader as well too, but I always try to learn from that mistake and never repeat it, and it's just
not really a mistake if you're learning from it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so that's probably the area where I'm still like, we got the marketing figured out, but then also like that's probably the next step for me as well too, is still building that, because as you build the team and keep growing, that part is almost the most important, right? Because and I'm blessed too that our turnover has been very low. So we're doing something right, because we don't see people going in and out. When they come here, they usually
That's
stay.
the most expensive thing I always tell everybody is retention.
Yeah.
And your story really resonated with me, because I didn't, like you said, it hits home, is like all these young people coming into the business, like, oh, I'm going to scale, and like I'm going to have a team of 100. Like when I came into this thing, it was just a bunch of old folks, and I was just happy to make a couple $100,000 a year.
Right.
And it's like all these people wanted to start working for me, and I felt called to lead and do all these different things. I mean, it just kind of happened naturally. I never thought I was going to have a massive team or build this big thing, but I just think when you're doing the right things, people notice and they want to be a part of it, and people are starving for leadership and to be a part of something. And I think that's ultimately what you're doing is you got something that people want to be a part of. It's a proven model. It's not theory. And you're attracting like-minded individuals that I assume a lot of your team is competitive and driven by culture and driven by wanting to be a part of something more than anything. So that's been a huge part of it. So now you're getting past these next couple people that are coming towards you. And when this webinar model came along, talk to us about what that was and what that did for your agency.
Well, it's allowed us to create leads coming in consistently, and so therefore we can always stay busy with our calendars and constantly have people to talk to. And so it's almost like you could turn the dial up if you need to and go hire more people, and it's just given us a lot more freedom and flexibility, I think, from a marketing standpoint, that if we want to continue to grow, we can do it relatively, I mean, not easily, but the formula is there to do it. Or if you just want to stay where you're at, you can just keep doing what you're doing. But it's been a huge help for me because I don't know where you're going to find leads that are that quality of leads. People who need help, they're raising their hand that, hey, help me. And
they know you before, like you get on the phone, they're like, oh, somebody from Matt's team. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So they know, like, and trust you.
Right.
And they're highly qualified, high intent type of leads. And like you said, you can turn this dial up and down. But what I think is interesting, we've known each other for a few years now through kind of these different communities in the webinar. We just met for the first time in person a couple months ago. And when I met you, you could sell Medicare all day long. In the last year or so, you've really amped up the cross-selling side, right? You and your team. I always talk about optimize, then we amplify. You kind of amplified before you were optimized, in my opinion. So you kind of did a reverse order of operations. But now, talk to me about, you've got all these high intent leads. Now you're optimizing them and packaging them. What was the click or the difference there?
Well, back in the day, a few years ago, I knew we needed to sell more ancillary.
Yeah.
We were good at selling dental.
Yeah.
I was hammering them to sell more cancer, and I think it was just not getting through to the team that, and maybe it's probably me not explaining like why they need cancer.
Yeah.
But we'd sell it here or there, nothing consistently. And then you and I started. I think it was at Josh's group, right? And, and then you reached out to me. You're like, hey, I got this training on ancillary. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're not very good at selling ancillary, so I think we might find that useful.
Yeah.
And it's blowing away my expectations, on the difference it's made for our agency. So you definitely hit home on a sweet spot with that, which has been phenomenal because, you combine that with the webinar marketing and then your training that you're putting out. What did I send you the other day? You asked me, like, what was our ancillary production?
You did like 1,300 ancillary apps this year.
Yeah. In the year before, I think we did half that.
Yeah.
In the year, it's I guess October's almost over, but we still got 2 months left. And we didn't really hire anybody new on our team.
Yeah.
Maybe one person here that started.
And that's what we talk about with optimization. It's just the number that we target is $1,500 in revenue per new Medicare client without annuities. So, I mean, you guys are humming towards that right now. What do you think the click was for your team that helped them sell that? I mean, do you think, can you pinpoint anything that for somebody watching, it's like, okay, I'm trying to sell ancillary, I'm trying to get $1,500 in revenue per client. Like, what's not clicking that click for your team?
I think the way you presented it, where it's a package, I think packaging, it helped because in the past we tried like just adding it on, hey, you need the cancer policy. And then, okay, we didn't even really sell heart attack and stroke at all. Just because I'm like, well, what I do it. And then recovery care, we didn't sell any of that either because I'm like, I don't even really know what it is. And it just seemed complicated to sell, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you could just come in and package it with people, I think just it makes it so from an agent standpoint, the agent can do it, but then the consumer as well too can it's okay, here's what it's going to cost, right? And this is our package, instead of like you try to throw everything at them one by one or add it on separately, and it's just not going to happen.
Yep.
And so I think that was the key where you're talking about just packaging it.
Yeah.
And
the pre-education. I mean, when people, if you come into a sale and you offer something that they've never heard about, if you're teaching people about Medicare and all these different things, and then at the very end of the sale, you ask them for ancillary and packages, but you've never talked about them, they're like, what is this? And now I assume you're talking about that in your educational aspect.
Yep.
Yeah, which is a huge part of it. And I mean, like you said, I mean, people are taught subliminally, like when you went to the airport today, you guys saw you had a coffee when you walked in. Do you want the small, medium, or large?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
People are taught to pick from options. Yep. So when we give them that menu, it obviously helps out tremendously there. So that's awesome to see what you guys have done there. I mean, you guys have had huge success, and I mean, on the live calls and everything, your team is always super engaged, and obviously they've ran with it, and it has to bring a lot more revenue. I mean, are you comfortable sharing what your revenue growth has been like the last couple of years? Do you know your revenue growth?
Yeah, I know for this year we're probably going to be on pace to do $3 million for
incredible.
revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just $1 million like a couple years ago, right? So this is, I mean, yeah, the revenue growth that it's brought on. I don't have the statistics in front of me right now, but it'd be fun to like just go back and look at like the percentage. But I mean, the cross selling is made it such a huge difference. So that's been fun. But yeah, we should be right at about $3 million for this year.
Yep.
And whatever that breaks down monthly, I mean, we're humming along pretty good. It's fun to see, it's fun to see everybody doing well. And that's where I get the most satisfaction from now is just like seeing the team like do well and write business and it's cool to see.
Well, it's fun for me because me, you, and Joe, we kind of all have that competitive text like, how's your team doing? How's your team doing?
Yeah.
And for the last year, I mean, we were not nearly as optimized as you guys were. And now you see us, we're humming. We'll probably do almost $500,000 in revenue this month. And it's like guys like you have pushed me to like, okay, what's Matt doing that I'm not doing? And then now you're texting me. It's like, why are we not doing what you're doing? It's like we just push each other in different ways, and really optimization of each other's team has been really fun. But one thing that really changed our agency is when we went to Destin, you were going to speak there, but you sent a video and it went out to our platform about how you use VAs. If we could just do like a couple minutes on how you use VAs, I mean, that completely transformed a lot of agencies. I don't think people realize how much they can help. And I watched your video that day, and I'm driving back from Florida with my wife and Chris, and I'm like, why in the hell are we not having VAs do outbound calling for us? Because I had 10 agents do 500 calls a week. Come on, pound the phone. I'm like, why are we doing that? So we immediately went back and hired 3 virtual assistants, and they set over 100 appointments for us a week now on top of what we already have coming in. So we already know you can have virtual assistants set appointments for us. What have you found, like, if I'm somebody watching this, how can I take a virtual agent and just make my agency just go?
Well, I mean, just think of all the stuff that you don't like to do.
Yep. So what do you not like to do?
Well, so or not only do you not like to do, but like what does your business really need? So like for AEP, everybody calls in at this time, right? As a solo agent, back when we start, it's like, okay, here's my cell phone, call me anytime. And then
worst mistake ever.
Oh gosh, it just gives you anxiety thinking about it.
It still rings.
So don't do that, first of all. If you're a new agent watching this, like have a designated business phone number that people can call, even if it goes to voicemail. At least they're not hounding your phone. But the first thing I would do is have the VA answer your phone.
Yeah.
They could do that. And with AI coming around now too, that's kind of the next thing I'm looking at is maybe like, can AI just answer the phone for you? That's probably where things are going, right?
Yep.
But I would have them answer the phone. And when we do that for our office, we got kind of 2 gals that do it now as well. But answer the phone, and then if somebody leaves a voicemail, they transfer it off to either customer support.
Here's my objection, though. Somebody's watching this. You're like, well, some virtual assistant overseas, I don't want them talking to my clients. Well, what would you say to that?
I think it's just something I mean, I guess the question I'd have is why not?
Yeah.
It's
a great. I mean, it's true, but that's what a lot of people think is like virtual assistants can't do this, or they're in the Philippines, they can't do that. And
yeah, it's like when you call into any major company, like your credit card company, right? It's most likely going to be somebody in the Philippines answering the phone, and some are hard to understand, but I generally have a great experience when I call into these corporations, or you call into like Ring Central. I don't know who has your phone system, but
Ring Central.
It's always like somebody over in the Philippines, and I always have a great experience with them. They have a little bit of an accent, and I don't think it's that big a deal. And I don't know if with your VAs, you don't hear people saying, "Well, I'm not going to do business with you because I can tell you're not."
Yeah, that was my big concern, but no one cares.
Yeah. So to that point right there, it's like it's a hang up, a mental hang up that you just kind of got to get over, I think, and realize it's not reality.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a problem with it at all. In fact, I got one right now calling through some of our old MedSep clients, setting appointments for us that are needing to be rewrote.
Yep.
So it's not a problem at all. It's just kind of a.
So phones, outbound calls, appointment setting on cold call leads. What else?
So ours do a lot of the admin stuff, right? Yep. Like just updating any of your sheets you need.
We do all data. Our VAs do all data entry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why would you pay somebody $20-$25 an hour to do that when you could pay a virtual assistant a fraction of that, and they're going to do just as good a job for you? There's some VAs that they love being on the phones. I don't know if I'd say love, but that's like what they do. They're used to the call center environment.
Yeah.
There's others that don't want to be on the phones, but they love to do data stuff, and they will do it great for you. So just think of all the stuff that takes away you from generating revenue. A lot of the customer service, data entry stuff. I'll even have
There's your nugget right there. I mean, I don't think a lot of, we think obvious, but I don't think a lot of people understand this. If it doesn't generate you revenue, it's not a revenue generating activity. A VA can probably do it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Here's a good example. Let's say you accidentally misspelled somebody's name on the app. You're going to call into the company and tell the customer service, "Oh, I misspelled the name on the app."
Yeah.
Your VA can do that. There's no reason that you should.
And how do you train these people? Is it you training them all on all this?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. It's at this point now, I have enough VAs that now the VAs just train the new VAs.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, they can just train each other.
Yeah, because we had a new girl start. I don't know about you guys, but here's the other thing too, that this would be applicable to everybody watching this who does webinars.
Yeah.
Again, I think the conversational AI is going to replace this, but one of our VAs is just responsible for responding to text messages.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, that's her job.
Yeah, in our CRM.
We get so many dang text messages now. Her job is to respond to text messages.
They can't keep it under 50 ever.
Yeah, right. So our new VA, we had another VA that started to help with that, and
we tried chatbots. It just wasn't giving us. We haven't clean yet, and it was really starting to screw things up.
I think it's coming where it's going to be able to. It'll be all squared away and be good. But
we have a no-show bot that's kicking ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really good.
Yeah, rebooking those people.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing though too. I don't know if you guys ran into this with the VAs. They're awesome about setting appointments, but then I'd say it's maybe 50-50 if they actually answer for the appointment.
Oh yeah. We're the quality of the set. I mean, and I think you have two philosophies there, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. It's what I'm using VAs for right now is they are only going to our newer agents that are training. So I would rather just spend more to get the highest quality leads for my closers, so they're just having people showing all day long. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I got an agent doing 50, 100 apps a month, I just want them having the highest quality leads because they can close everything.
Yep.
The new agents that we're bringing, and we're bringing so many new agents in now, I just want them filled up with opportunities. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're using VAs for, is opportunities.
Yep.
So they get all these different, they're completely booked every 30 minutes with VA sets, and we know every 30 minutes that somebody's not going to show. So then it kind of evens out their day. Yeah. But it also works them up to the high intent leads.
Yep.
But my philosophy has always been with a VA, we're just identifying people that are willing to pick up the phone at some point.
Yeah.
We're skipping all the people that don't pick up the phone. We're identifying the people that are willing to pick up the phone. So if you can set it. And if they don't answer, we'll move on.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I like that. It's kind of like the old school days when we were working, and we'd we'd set a day full of 10 appointments or 12 appointments, knowing that half of them are going to no-show.
Yeah.
And, but then you still end up with 6 good appointments for the day, right?
Yep.
So, I think
especially for a new agent, though, it's like they're not ready for the highly qualified anyway.
Right.
So it's as long as we can get them a day full of appointments so they can get in the flow of running appointments.
Yep.
And then, hey, what do I do when a no-show happens type deal? Because they're going to have no-shows.
Yep.
It gets them it gets those muscles working.
I agree. Yeah. So I think the important thing is to understand, and I think we can work on it too. Is part of the deal I found out with our VAs is, do you use Wave Dialer at all?
No.
Okay. So we've been using Wave Dialer. I really like it because we have like 100 different phone numbers. We can show a local presence.
Yep.
And it helps with the pickup rate.
Yeah, we're looking at Kixie, same thing.
Okay. Yeah. The only issue we'd run into is when the agent would call them back, they'd call them back from our business number. So it'd be a different number. So we run into a lot of no-shows. And then I also think the VAs, you got to really just stay on them about making sure it's a qualified call. Because sometimes if you put in the VA's head that, okay, you got to get XYZ amount of appointments, then they're going to try to set some appointments that maybe aren't as qualified for you. And I tell them, like, hey, look, if you set 2 appointments today, fine, whatever. I want quality.
So you're going the opposite way. You only want high quality sets.
Yeah, I don't want. It's like, well, it's 2:00 should work for me. It's like, no, that's not. That's not.
Well, I assume the reason you want highly qualified is because you have highly qualified closers across the board.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the difference with us is we're using it for our new agents essentially.
And then the other thing is too. Okay, let's say a bunch of them no-show you. Well, they picked up the phone with the VA. Okay, so we know the phone works.
Yeah.
All right, they might no-show you. You throw them back into like your follow-up or your hot leads queue or no-show queue or whatever, and you just keep working.
Yeah.
them,
they're willing to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
That's step number 1.
Yeah.
Are they willing to pick up the phone? Because if they do, that's way better than 90% of the leads in the first place.
I wish we had some way to track like some of our sales, just like the cycle that they've gone through. I bet they've gone from like appointment to no-show, and then we call them a no-show, back on the calendar again, they no-show again, back to no-show, back to the appointment, and then like after the 4th or 5th time from bouncing back and forth, then they answer, then we sell
it's amazing
them.
right now. I think I told you this. We're running an email drip every single day right now to over 70,000 leads. So 70,000 leads are getting an email. We get bookings every day from that email campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And these people, I look at their journey, and they may have registered a year ago.
Yeah.
Or they may have been on an appointment. They weren't quite ready yet. So it's like you said, that journey can zigzag, but through proper follow-ups and proper systems, they'll close at different cycles.
So that's a good question for you then. With your people who tell you they're going to delay Medicare, what do you do with them? And
we write them an ancillary.
Okay, yes. After you write them ancillary, they say, well, I'm going to keep working for another 2-3 years. They go into a pipeline where you just drip email on them then? Or is there at some point like somebody's going to call back through them just to check up on them? Or
if I'm being completely honest, we would try our best to sell ancillary on them, and they probably have an ancillary because we're so good at placing ancillary on people that are staying on group coverage.
You just kind of leave it up to them.
And then we're just leaving it on them, and we're offering them a review every year anyway. So they're getting the same automations our Medicare clients are.
Okay.
So we're going to be in their peripherals at all times.
Okay, gotcha.
What we're doing right now is such high intent, so high volume that we just want to keep everything full with fresh appointments circulating through there.
Yeah.
That's how we've been handling that. But there's so many different ways to do it. I've learned so much from you. I know you've learned from us. And, you just put all the good stuff together. I said something the other day. It's like nobody understands the cheat code is you just find what's working, but guess what the cheat code is? You make it better.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of great stuff out there, but can you make it better?
Yep.
And that's where the edge is, in my opinion.
Yep.
It's just taking what's working and make it better.
Yeah. It's constantly evolving. And then you got technology that changes too, right? Back 10 years ago, we could cold call or we could have the telemarketers set appointments for us because people answered the phone back then. Well, now you got these call blockers and all this stuff. Yeah. So you can't just do that business model anymore. You have to find ways to adapt. And, now it seems like people are really responsive through text message.
Yep.
And then, I get all these spam texts now too. And so like maybe that gets to a point where texting isn't even efficient anymore. I know email is not the most efficient thing anymore. I guess if you're doing it to 70,000 people,
every day.
So
and then I just think people are seeing this every day, and it's just, like I said, somebody may not care about it on October 1st, but October 20th, it's like, okay, this is the 20th time I've seen this, or like, we just see so many different buy cycles because we have a major local market, two major local markets. I've got about 20 billboards running. I've got 600 commercials going.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to me right now how many people we track every lead source where it comes from.
Yep.
Every week right now, we're getting 10 to 15 billboard TV call-ins.
Nice.
And it's just like, I'm telling you, they're going around town, they're seeing the billboard,
Yep.
then they see it on TV, then they see a Facebook ad because we're running a local Facebook ad, and it's just like all these things work together, and you never know when somebody's actually ready to buy, so then they all work together, and that's where people take an action when they see multiple touch points that all work together.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep. No, that's exactly right. And then you don't have to worry about those people being like, well, let me shop around a little bit more. It's like, no, they're calling in to get it taken care of.
Yeah. When somebody takes that action, when somebody calls in and takes that action, I mean, our in-person sales have got to be converting at like 90% right now.
Yeah.
And the attachment rate is through the roof.
Yep.
So I know what's next for you? I know you're wanting to, you sent me a video the other day, you're wanting to buy an office?
Yeah, so...
walk me through that, because who's going to be there?
Yeah. Well, so that'll be kind of a fun project for next year, because I think, if COVID wouldn't have happened, right, we probably would have stayed in the office and probably just grew that out, right? Yeah. And being a football guy, me being sports guy, football guy, it's like team is kind of what we grow up with, and that's like, that's just what I like. And our model right now, it's fine. I kind of like being able to just kind of come and go too when I want, but at the same time, the cabin fever thing, like if you're just constantly on your own all the time, it's okay maybe for a couple years during COVID, but it's just not mentally, it is not, even if we made no more money doing the office thing, like for me mentally, I think I have to go into that environment, and the goal would be to hire, we start out maybe hire 5 people in there, and it just gets some.
So you're wanting to expand that local presence in an office and start hiring.
Yeah,
in Scottsdale.
Get some energy going there, and I think that will.
Such a young town too. I feel like you have to have some great talent.
There's a lot of talent. I'll tell you kind of what my thought is solar is massive down there.
Yeah, start cherry picking them.
Dude, I could be wrong, but I think if you are, it's kind of like you knocking on doors, right? If you're a solar person and you're knocking on doors and doing that, and
you could fill them with 15 appointments a day.
It's like, it just seems like you wouldn't have to, you just train them on the product, and then they already got kind of the intangibles.
One of our best agents came from car sales.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is just insane. I have 15 appointments every day.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he can sell anything.
Yeah.
Like he's at, this week, I think he's done 20,000 in revenue. Like, he can just sell anything. And it's just like, you just give him a full plate, and it's like these solar guys, same thing. They're very talented, high-level salespeople, but if they didn't have to knock on doors and they had appointments all day long, it'd be over Grover.
Yeah. You don't want to be out in the 100-degree heat in Phoenix, like knocking on doors.
When I came there and saw you guys at 110, that was insane.
That was a bad day.
Yeah.
It's beautiful now, though. Yeah, you got to come back now.
The food, though, was so good. You'll see. We'll go to my office tomorrow. I mean, I spent $10,000 to put a coffee bar and snack bar because I want people to want to come there every day.
Right.
I bought a $1,500 massage chair, so when people, we call it the closer's chair. You you close, you go get a massage, and you'll see the environment in there. The leaderboard's always up there, and it just breeds this. I mean, I'm all about the championship teams. I was a part of some incredible championship teams, and that's what it breeds. It breeds that same championship mindset and mentality, and everybody feeds off each other. So I'm excited to see you grow that part, because I think it'll feed your soul, but I think at the same time you're going to see your business explode, because even your virtual agents, it's going to lift them too.
I think
it really will.
Yeah.
We'll finish this up with the fire round, baby. So just some more personal questions to get to know you as we close this thing out. And a couple questions here. I mean, what are you most proud of? 40 years old, what are you most proud of now? You got a new son, right?
Yep.
What are some things you're most proud of in your life?
Yeah, well, I mean, we start right there.
Yeah.
That's been a game changer. So he just turned 1 here about a month ago.
Yeah.
And so that's been so cool to see.
Yeah. Got him golfing yet?
He's carrying around the golf club,
Yeah.
and hanging out and putting golf balls into the golf hole in the putting green in the backyard. But that'd probably be on the top of the list right now. Professionally wise, I'm proud of where we are at with the business, because when I got into the insurance to begin with, like I'm probably done more than I would have ever imagined when I first started, right?
Yeah.
So but you kind of, the goalposts keep moving with that, right? You keep but if we're just taking a step back and evaluating what it is today, or that's something I think you can be proud of, and doing things the right way. So I'd say those two.
I think one thing you do a really good job of, and maybe this is just an assumption, I don't know, I'm not in your head, but I don't feel like you compare yourself a lot. I feel like you stay away from the comparison game, and just, you're kind of just Matt Mitchell. Don't know anybody like you. So, I mean, can you speak to that at all? Do you feel like you're pretty good about just kind of doing your own thing?
I think you learn that as you get older. I think it's as you get maybe more even mature and confident with yourself, and it's something that I think we all do.
Yeah.
And we need some of it to help keep us motivated, right?
Right.
But at the same time, it can also be what they say. It's like comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Yeah.
You could start comparing yourself to other people that are ahead of you and just feel really bummed out. You're like, oh man, like I need to, and then you stress yourself out trying to do stuff to get to that level. So I think it's a fine line, and I probably play it cooler than maybe what it always is. Like I do have, some type of anxiety. I feel like almost daily about the business, not necessarily comparing it. Like at this point, I don't really. I will tell you this. A lot of people during AEP are like, oh, we're working Saturdays. Going hard. Working long hours. My team, you want to work Saturday? Cool. You don't want to work Saturday? Don't work Saturday. We just like mental health. Taking care of yourself is also a big priority.
That's been the big preach to my team this year. Is I ran 9 years hard in AEP. I ran 7 to 7, worked weekends.
Yeah.
I sacrificed a lot of mental and physical health the last couple of years, and I keep telling everybody, like, we got to be sleeping good, we got to be eating good, we got to be. Hey, there's no reason anybody should be working past 8 to 5. 8 to 5. Fill your calendar up. Be organized. We got a great team.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to be pounding our head against the walls if we're properly prepared and we're doing things the right way. So I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to realize that.
I still want to. I'm still like always in go. So you kind of got to know to turn it down a little bit and realize, like, okay, so what? We don't get a few extra apps. It's like we need to. And everybody's a little bit different with that, right? I tell people, when you build your calendars full of appointments, like for me, I got to have like at least a half-hour break there in the middle of the day, because then I'm like, I got to eat, drink or something, and just give me a break.
Yeah. Some
Some agents are like, nope, just whatever. I'll take a break when I get a break, and like scarf some food as I'm talking to somebody, But so everybody's a little bit different. But I'm very like, as you get older, I think too, like it's not worth it to just grind yourself to death during AEP. It just like for what, It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So do your work during the week, enjoy your weekends, right? And a lot of our team has family too, so it's like,
that's part of it too. I mean, and like I said, I've been on both sides of it, but I think it's easier this year for me to say that. I mean, this is the first year I've removed myself from selling. I think I've ran 5 appointments this AEP. I used to run 500. So it's really been a unique view for me. I say I'm sitting up in the deer stand just watching everybody. I'm popping in and out of each department. So we have all these different departments now, and everything's just running smooth. And I said it's just kind of like a game plan that we put together for the big game. It's like we put this awesome plan together, but we're still making adjustments throughout each quarter and throughout the halftime. And that's what I've been really proud of our team is I've never, my watch is telling me that I'm not stressed anymore. So it's been kind of cool.
That means you're doing something right. Yeah.
Who are some big, you touched a little bit on them, but mentors personally, professionally, who are some people that just mentors to you over your life?
Starting out from a young age, probably, I'd say my high school football coach.
Yep.
My dad as well too.
Yeah.
I think parents, you could probably throw them in there.
Yeah.
But say definitely a high school football coach. You still take some of the stuff that you learned from way back then.
Yeah.
You still think about it, right? And I would say from this industry, again, like just kind of going back to Chris Westfall, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have done what I did to be here now.
Yeah.
So I think he was an early pioneer.
Joe said the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, yep. And so he's definitely the guy for me in this industry. And then, you kind of find other mentors along the way too. Like I've taken some stuff from, going out and seeing Justin Brock's office, taking a lot of stuff from you, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of intertwine
a
little bit of mentors here or there as you go.
The best way to do it. I mean, that's what I think you do the best of. You grab something here, you grab something there. You played nice with everybody, and I think it's really proven to be a great formula for you. Is you really just take nuggets from everybody and put it together. And like I said earlier, you take what's working and you put your own little twists on it, make it better.
Yep.
And look what it's done for your agency. I mean, you've went from 1 to 3 million within a couple of years, and really on kind of a massive growth mode right now.
Yeah.
And ready to buy an office, and I think from what I'm hearing, you see more growth than you've ever thought possible.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's that is something I do struggle with. I don't know if you have this struggle as well, where the goalposts are always moving, and you ask yourself, well, what's the goal or what's the end goal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if you asked me a couple years ago, it's way different now than what it was, right? So it's like I think you just kind of throw something out there that you think is the next, let's say 2-3 years is achievable, but going to be difficult for you, and you just kind of enjoy like the journey and the process of building and getting to that goal.
Yeah, that hits hard for me because I remember a couple years ago, one of my entrepreneur buddies, he was really successful, sold his gambling company for like $50 million, and he asked me, he's like, so what do you want to do with your company, something revolved around money, and I was like, you know what, I would be really happy if I could sell it for $1 million one day. Make a couple $1 million a year now. It's like you said, the goalposts are always moving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just weird to look back at that because, I mean, where you're at now, you would have never dreamed you're at years ago. And now you want more. Like you said, finding that balance and enjoying it. I think I'm doing a better job than ever of enjoying it and just being in the moment. And really, I think what I see now is instead of like moving the goalposts, we just bring on more great people, and that in turn moves the goalpost.
Yeah.
It's always people for me.
Yeah,
is I think that forces you to move the goalpost, but they move it for you. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, and then the growth on the revenue is just kind of a side effect. I mean, like it almost just takes care of itself by you just hiring the good people, and then the growth
and promoting
happening.
the good people.
Yeah,
like, I think we've promoted within so much this year. And Jason McCool, he came in here and sold his company for, I mean, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And he said something that will forever stick with me. He's like, I think everybody can be developed. I think everybody can be developed. And he said, I always promote eagerness over readiness. And it's like I just started promoting people after that. And it's just worked. It's worked awesome just to let people when you put somebody in a role they're not ready for, they're forced to appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been really cool.
Sure.
So. Books, any podcasts, anything that are your favorite books or podcasts that you feel like have helped you out a lot?
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts?
I used to, not so much anymore.
I don't either.
Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of real estate ones. I listen to a church one every now and then.
I struggle to find the time.
Yeah.
You probably could squeeze it in like maybe first thing in the morning, like if I'm walking the dog or something. But I like
listening to music though when I work out. Like
Well,
it's hard for me to do a podcast.
Yeah, you get a better workout in listening to music for sure. But my buddy will send me this like hey, listen to this Joe Rogan podcast. It's like 2 hours long.
I'm like 10 minutes, and I'm like, I can't do this.
So you just got 2 hours here? Let me sit here and listen to this.
Yeah, there's no way.
Come on. How about you send me the cliff notes?
Give me the clip I want to watch.
Yeah. Book, the book I like is The Buy Back Your Time.
Yeah, Dan Martell.
I read that one a few months ago, and I think that's one you got to reread like a bunch.
Yeah.
Because I know there's more nuggets in there that I'll take away from it, but I thought that was awesome because that applied to a lot of business and personal too, and just the concepts of it in there. And then I got a stack of books at home too that I got to read through. Dynasty is one of them. So
I got to get that thing read.
Read that on the flight home.
There you go. Love it. This question I like is, Morgan Wallen, you went to his concert, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you're at your concert, you got to walk. The walkout song. He always picks somebody. Who's your walkout? Who are you walking out with? If you had a concert right now, who are you walking out with?
Well, Morgan Wallen, it's got to be my dad. But you're just referencing Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, I'm just saying like that concept. Who are the people?
Yeah.
If you're walking out to your show, who's next to you?
Well, I'd still take my dad, for sure. And then, probably I think it'd be cool to just walk out with your whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially being virtual, we don't get together all that often. That'd be a cool experience. Yeah. Throwing my son and girlfriend in there too.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. And my last, and probably I never know if I'm getting the real answer here. What keeps you up at night?
I sleep pretty good, actually.
Yeah, that's my favorite answer. I sleep great.
Yeah. Now, what maybe keeps me up at night as like, what do I think about a lot?
Yeah.
I am thinking about the business a lot. I sometimes am, worried about like, okay, I guess the whole point is there, like I want to have a place where people can go and feel good about working, and I take a lot of pride and like responsibility on my shoulders of that. So sometimes like if something breaks down or isn't going right in the business, like I take that pretty seriously, because I want everybody on the team that works with us to have a good experience and have it be a place that they're proud to work.
That's exactly why you have high retention.
Yeah.
Because you care about your people and you care about their experience and want them to come to work. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like to think, hey, like we're not perfect, but, and you're probably the same way with your company that, if there is something broke, hey, we'll do our damnedest to fix it, like we want to see everybody win and we want everybody to do well. And if something that's not working well, we'll get it corrected and be better from it.
Yeah. The one thing I always say is whatever keeps you up at night, that's what you need to hire.
Yep.
So if it's systems, whatever. I mean, the best hire that I made this year was Matt Monticelli, our director of digital integrations, automations, marketing. Like, I'm removed from our CRM, and that's been incredible. So, I mean, that kept me up a lot. It's just, is this working right? Am I getting leads? Oh God, it was nuts. But it's been a crazy transition there. Well, this was long overdue. Appreciate you doing this. Yeah. We're gonna have a great couple days here.
Yeah.
I mean, Vandy game's gonna be awesome tomorrow. College game day here. We're gonna head out to the camp tonight, watch some football, just have a good time. So it's gonna be a great rest of the weekend here, and this was a great segment. I can't wait for everybody to watch it. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to the weekend, and I'd love to come do this again here again soon, and we talk about all the stuff we're doing again.
Yeah, we got to get the group. We got to get me, you, Joe, some of the guys that have been at this for a while. We did that a while ago. We did like a round table deal. So we'll get that together. Appreciate you, brother, and we'll catch everybody on the next one.